All right, AJT fan, welcome back to the Trader's Mindset. Um, if you guys are here from last week, you accepted the reality of day trading. I laid it out for you. I didn't sugarcoat it. And so, you guys that decided to stick with me um, and learn and develop the right mindset. So, just kind of a review here. We remember that after you get your education, you taking classes, you going through boot camps or whatever, most of you guys come out like this. You've got all of the you've got all of the pieces. You've got all of the pieces you need. You've got your education, your strategy. You've learned how to manage your money, risk management tools. You just don't know where everything goes. You don't really understand where to start putting things. But as you get a little bit more experience and you start growing, you know that you are the center of your trading universe. Everything has to revolve around you. So where you put it really doesn't matter. All that matters is you're in the center and everything is revolved around you. Now, the glue that holds everything together is psychology. Just like, remember, I told you, when you put the puzzle together and you go to pick the puzzle up and it falls apart if it's not glued together. Your trading your trading world, your trading puzzle, when the wind blows, the storms come. You're gonna have storms. You're gonna have things that just will uproot you if you don't have the right mindset, the psychology that has everything glued together. It's gonna fall apart, and you're gonna look like this again. And we don't want that. Okay? We don't want that. Um, so we know, and we mentioned last week, that most prospective and struggling traders tend to think that psychology isn't what really matters. They think that what matters is just being rational, informed, educated, and experienced. They think, hey, I'm a rational thinker, I'm informed, I stay up with the news and what's happening in the market. I'm educated. I've taken a couple of classes. I know I've got a strategy, and I've been doing this for a while. That's all I need to do. And like everybody says, hey, all I need to do is just put in. It may take a year or 2 years or whatever, but once I get that experience, I'm going. And so for the first couple of years, you're okay with just trading break even. You're okay with just surviving. Am I right? You guys, you've been in a room, you've been in there for a year, and it's like, well, it takes a little bit longer. You join for another year, and maybe you're just the ones that take a little bit longer. You join for another year. Just you keep going through the same thing. You keep doing the same things, expecting different results. And we know that's the definition of insanity. But the people teaching you, they don't care because as long as they keep you on the hook and you keep buying every year, that's all that matters. So, but we're stuck in that rut. Some of you I've talked to, you've been trading 4, 5, 6, 7, even up to 10 years, and you've just been doing it break even. You have not broken out of your, that channel. And there is a reason, and you're going to learn it today. There is a big reason. It's not just it's yes, it's the trader mindset, but we're going over different components of that mindset. And there's one major component that's kind of keeping you a prisoner in your own mind when it comes to trading. So what can we do to get our minds and our subconscious to act in harmony so that we can actually grow? So that we could take the things that we need, we can throw away the stuff that we don't, and actually grow as a trader. Okay, you have to find your trading self. Number one, it begins with understanding who you are as a trader. And that's why I gave you these last week to think about, to assess your skill and ability level, based on what you think you're going to need for trading. You may not know yet, and that's fine. Then you would write down that you don't know because you haven't had enough time. Um, you want to assess your capitalization. How well capitalized are you? And assess your time availability. That's really the most important part because you want to be able to commit to a certain amount of time a week, a certain amount of time a day, and it needs to be consistent. Now, there are some times where you'll be able to do more, but as a minimum, you need to have a specific amount of time that you're going to develop. Like me, I knew what my time was, I had my schedule. I knew that I only had specific times during work hours, and I had specific times at night that I could work after everybody went down. Because that way I wouldn't have to worry about being bothered or interrupted or whatever. Everybody could do their things, everybody could go to bed, wind down, and I had that time just for me, but I could commit to it every day. Of course, you're going to have vacations, emergencies come up, but you've got a schedule that you can commit to so that when all of those things are done, you can go right back to your schedule and start doing the things that you do. Um, so next, you have to um, identify, understand what your trading personality is, and that's what you're going to want to do this week. Is work around and deal with your trading personality because this is what's going to help you in this next segment that we're talking about. Okay, are you an introvert or an extrovert? And really, all I mean is, are you able or can you get open to working with a mentor or a coach or a good friend that can help you out? Um, you have to be able to do that, especially to get to the next level. A lot of people think, well, I can do it on my own. I did it by myself. And they say they did it by themselves. They didn't learn from anybody. Look, you had to learn in the beginning. If you were in a couple of rooms and all that stuff, like they said, they learned. They had to learn the foundation, the fundamentals of what trading looked like. They had to. So at some point, you're going to learn from somebody. But in order to get to that next level, you're going to need somebody that you can intimately work with, meaning one on one, that can help you through a lot of the things we're going to talk about, especially throughout the next couple of months. Um, so you want to answer that question, and because that's going to determine how much work you're going to need to do to be able to start working with somebody or opening up to at least one person about what your struggles are. I was an introvert until I started teaching. I was an introvert. Believe it or not, an introvert became a teacher. And I had to work through that. I didn't like it. I didn't know what I was thinking about when I got into teaching and I signed that contract. But I got in the room and I didn't want to talk. But it's something that I had to do and I had to work through to develop that mindset to be a teacher. Because a regular employee mindset does not work in being a teacher. So I had and have experience in developing and changing the mindset going into a different field of, a different work field. So that's very, very important. Do you like working on your own? That's something else that you're gonna have to work through. If you're a loner and you just like working on your own and you don't want anybody to work with you, that's something you're gonna have to get through. Because in the beginning and getting to where you want to be in trading, you're gonna need to work with somebody. No, there's no way around that. Okay, here's a big question: are you disciplined or grew up in a disciplined environment? I grew up in a very disciplined environment where my parents, had a lot of rules. Some people didn't. Some people got to do whatever they wanted to do whenever they wanted to do it, stay out as late as they want. But I grew up in a disciplined environment. So I had a leg up when it came to some people. But you have to think about that. Okay, you're going to see in a minute why it's very important. Are you a confident person? Did you grow up being a confident person? Having a lot of self confidence and believing in yourself? Or were you that type person that only did things that you felt you could accomplish? Right? That's what you're thinking about. So you want to think about that. Why do you trade? And believe it or not, some people trade just for the fun of it, just for the game. It's a fun thing. They don't care whether they make, money or make a living or build, a secondary income. They just like trading. It's like gambling to them. It's like going to a casino. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But when you add it up and you look at it overall, you're not really making any money, right? These are the things that that we have to think about. Okay, so these are just a few. We're gonna assess more as we go forward, but these are just a few. Okay, and let's go back to what I was saying. A lot of traders think, okay, I've got a proven winning strategy. I've got all the education, I've got all the tools, I've got everything I need, but it does not automatically translate into you being a consistently successful day trader. It doesn't. It doesn't. So, believing and trusting that your strategy will follow the expected outcome no matter what will lead you to trouble. So, if you were in the room this morning, you saw, man, we killed Netflix. All right, we worked Netflix over. So Nvidia came along, had the perfect setup under the 5-minute open range low, under the linear regression channel. We take an entry on it, and it doesn't work. It doesn't follow through. It bounces and it trades back through all that resistance. If I had a strong belief in that system and it didn't work, and I had the wrong expectation, the first thing I'm going to think of, then this strategy sucks. It ain't worth 2 cents. But that's not it. That's not it. The market, we can't control the direction of the market. Once we get in a trade, all we can do is manage our trade. We have 100% control over managing it from our side, but we have zero control over market direction. And that's what leads to trouble. and thinking the way that we think. So you definitely need the mental skills in order to execute your trades according to the strategy that you're trading. Also, we must stay focused on the process of the strategy versus worrying about what's going to happen. And we must know exactly what to do and when to do it without any hesitation or fear. Meaning, what happens? Like if my stock got blown through, like we did, it did. I had a plan in place as to what to do, okay, and when to do it. I did it without hesitation or fear. It still didn't work out, but did I get pissed off at it and start trading, trading in and out of it? No. That happens to a lot of you guys. You lose, the strategy is perfect, it doesn't work, it takes you out, it looks like it starts to work again. Instead of waiting for it to signal, you jump back in and then you jump out, then you may flip it and go trade the opposite way. And, then what? What are we doing? What are we doing? So these are the things that I'm talking about. So we sum all this up in one word: execution. Execution is extreme execution is what our ultimate goal is. Because if we can execute our process right in the market every day, we're going to make money in this market. We're going to pull it out. Some days will be better than others. Some weeks will be better than others. Some months will be better than others. Some quarters will be better than others. Okay. All of these things, it's going to happen. We just have to believe in that and not trust in our strategy that it's going to follow not the expected outcome for each trade, but that over a series of trades we're going to make money. It's going to be profitable. So a true professional day trader knows that his or her success is not found in a box. And I'm talking about these people that are selling strategies, selling trading processes, selling AI programs, and selling all of that stuff. No, I've been through that. I've done that. There used to be this software called Stock Horizon that's supposed to give you the entry point and the exit point and all of that stuff. Which it did. The problem was I could not execute it. You had to have a certain mindset in order to come in and believe in the system to take it when it says get in and get out when it says get out and not worry about all of the stuff in between. All of the stuff in between is what works in our head. It's what gets in our head. Then we're sitting there, we're not locked in, we're focused, we're listening to this guy, we're listening to that guy. We're in these two or three rooms at the same time because we don't want to miss the big move for the day. And all you're doing is setting yourself up for failure. That's all you're doing. I hate to say it, but that's all you're doing. So too often, traders look for the answers in technology and it's not there. Like I said, I did too. In the beginning, I did. I thought that was it. I thought trying to buy these systems and things where people tell me what level to get in and what level to get out, buying trade alerts, subscriptions and stuff. No. Now, maybe if I knew how to trade, those alerts would work. But if you don't know how to execute your trades the right way, if you don't have the right mindset, nothing's going to work for you. And you're going to spend years and a lot of money chasing your tail. So the answer here is in understanding and controlling your own emotions and taking responsibility for your own actions. Regardless if let's say the platform screws up. Who chose the platform? You did. So who's responsible? You are. If you try to look and put stuff off on everybody else, it's not going to be good for you. That's not the right mindset you need to have. You take responsibility for it. Now, if you, at the end of the day, if you need to fire your broker, fire your broker or fire your trading platform because you're having too many issues with it, whose responsibility is it? Yours. You got to fire them, right? So we're responsible. If we got to fire ourselves, then we got to fire ourselves. So professional traders know that losing is a part of the cost of doing business. So they know, regardless of what happens, whether it's their fault, platform's fault, whatever fault it is, it doesn't matter. We're responsible. But how we handle that mentally is going to determine whether we fail or succeed. Okay, just because of what I told you about earlier, that's just one of the examples of you taking a loss and you knew that that was going to be a winning trade and it didn't, and you start chasing it and you start getting in and out, trying to guess the direction, and that means you can't handle loss. And you don't understand that technically it's not loss. It's just a business expense. It's the cost of doing business. Just like if you were to buy inventory to sell in your store. It's a cost of doing business. You have to pay for that inventory. Now you may get it on credit, but at some point you're going to have to pay for it. And if you don't make it, then you know you it's a cost of doing business. All right. But success in day trading is the mastery of oneself. That's what we're getting into. So what I've realized, and here's the main part of the day. What I've realized while working with the hundreds of traders that I've worked with over these last 9, 10 years that I've been doing mentoring and teaching trading is that they all have one thing in common. They have never made it out of survival mode. Most of you are still in survival mode. It's not your fault, okay? It's not your fault. It's what you were taught. You were taught in all of the whatever classes you took, whatever education you took, whether you saw it on the internet, on YouTube, or you bought classes, or you went through this boot camp, it doesn't matter. They taught you survival mode. Unfortunately, they had no idea how to teach you how to get out of it or where you needed to be. You cannot live in survival mode. If you've been trading 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, 3, 4, 5 years, and you're still in the same place, and you're still waiting for that breakout moment, it's not coming because you're in survival mode. The way you manage your trades, the way you manage your risk, all of this is survival mode. It's designed to make you not lose. Okay, and what did we say? Professional traders know that taking losses is a part of doing business. I didn't say take unnecessary losses. That's not what I said. I said taking loss is a part of doing business. And if you're sitting here trying to define the loss out of your trades, you are in survival mode and you're not going to thrive. You're not going to thrive. Okay? So this is the the mode that most of us live in throughout our lives. And it's usually established early on to help us deal with negative feelings, challenges, and disappointments we start facing as we begin growing up. Meaning, you're dealing with something that's been instilled in you from the first day you went to school. All right, from the first, really, it was being instilled in you when you were at home, growing up, before you even made it to school. Okay, we start developing out of instinct how to survive. When we go to school and other kids start picking on us and we don't like it, or we get challenged by the work, or, we give an answer and the people laugh at us because it's wrong. Eventually we start coming up with things to protect us, to protect our feelings. Am I ringing a bell here? Growing up, not all of us at all of our lives have been the cool kids in school. And even the cool kids in school have to maintain a certain level, so you know, they're surviving in their cool kid mode. All right, is this starting to make sense to you? How we developed, I even had a fantasy world that I lived in that I could go to when I felt inadequate or when I felt like I couldn't live up to it. So a lot of these things start to mess with us. Okay, we start developing bad habits to deal with these feelings. And because it becomes so deeply entrenched in us, it's hard for us to change. One big thing is, how many times growing up did we not try something or did we not do something because we didn't want to get embarrassed or we didn't want to get our feelings hurt, we didn't want to be wrong, so we protected ourselves. We had that protection instinct, that survivor instinct, so that we didn't have to deal with not being successful. How many of you didn't try out for this team because you felt like you weren't going to make it and you didn't want to embarrass yourself? Or you didn't want to do things or participate in this activity or that activity because you didn't want to embarrass yourself and you don't want to feel that pain. Guess what? That's survival mode. And guess what? We bring that into trading. And some of you are dealing with that right now. Most of you are dealing with that right now. And you can't get anywhere. You've been dealing with it for years. And you can't figure out why the hell I can't get anywhere. It's because you're still in survival mode. So we start lying to ourselves. Okay, we lie. I guarantee you, we're lying to ourselves dealing with this trading stuff. I guarantee we're lying to ourselves. This is me. I built the fantasy world that I lived in. I built the fantasy world that I live in, the one that I wanted to be, to keep me from feeling like a failure. I cheated myself out of opportunities because I didn't want to embarrass myself. Okay? I didn't want to embarrass myself. So I cheated myself out of opportunities. Okay? I didn't try to do things, not dangerous things. I'm not talking about like dangerous things or things that we could get hurt and all of that. I'm talking about just different activities, participating in this because, these people are in this group and They're going to embarrass me. I don't want to feel that. So I'm not going to take advantage of this opportunity. Or I'm not going to go on this field trip because, I don't want to be picked on the bus and all this stuff. That's what I'm talking about. We've all, at some point, we've all done it. And quitting things when things don't become easy, when they get hard, we quit, right? So it's probably not your fault that who you are right now. It's probably because of how you were brought up, um, and the things that happen. It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility to change if you're going to reach the next level, especially in trading. You probably didn't need to deal with all of this stuff at the job you're at now. Okay, you could probably do all of these things at the job you're at now and survive because you don't you're not moving up the ladder, you have no desire, you're just surviving, you're not thriving. The people that move up, the people that get the promotions and move and blow past you are the ones that take chances, are the ones that believe in themselves, the ones that are thriving. Okay, they're out of survival mode, and you're going to learn in a minute what mode they're in. Okay, so we're all dealt circumstances that we do not have any power over. Does that sound familiar? We're all dealt circumstances that we do not have any power over. What's one thing that we're doing right now that we do not have any power over? What are we involving ourselves in? Involving ourselves in right now that we do not have any power over. You're exactly right. Our trading, the direction of our trades. Okay, the direction of our trade. We have zero control over that. Once we get in the trade, we have no control. All right, but even though we do not have any power or control over the direction of our trades once we enter, we have to be accountable to them by what? Managing our trades. Not worrying about whether they're going in the wrong direction right now. Not worrying about what our P&L looks like. Not worrying about anything. All right? We must be accountable to our trading by managing them. Okay? And we cannot, I repeat, we cannot do it from a survival or an instinctive mindset. We can't. If you're doing it from a survival or an instinctive mindset, you're going to be stuck in the rut that you're in for the rest of your life. Is what your rest of your trading life, put it that way. Your rest of your trading life. And unlike some of the other jobs you have where you can perform in survival mode and make a living, you cannot do that in trading. Like if you're a doctor, you can't do that being a doctor. A doctor cannot live in survival mode. You know, he'll lose his license and be sued until the day he dies. A lawyer cannot live in survival or mode. Okay, they can't. So the point that I'm making to you today is in order to find your trading self, not only do you have to, answer the questions that I gave you earlier, but we're going to have to replace that survival mode, the survival mindset that you're in, to the resilience mindset. Now, yes, Resilience mindset does deal with some survival instincts, but the resilience takes you to the next level. Okay, it takes you higher. Once you survive the storm, it's going to take you through the storm. I mean, it's going to take you above the storm. It's going to take the things that you learned and apply them to your growth, and you're going to keep going. You're not going to stay where you are. So, I know the question you guys are asking me. I thought it was pretty much the same. What's the difference between survival and resilience? Well, survival is instinctive. It's an instinct. In the beginning, when we started to protect ourselves, when we started getting hurt, started feeling bad, when people were picking on us and we were not perfect and we start feeling bad, it was our instinct to protect ourselves. We didn't like the way we felt. We didn't like to feel rejected. We didn't like to feel picked on. So we automatically came up with different things to make us feel better. We didn't deal with the issue. We protected ourselves from it. And that's instinct. Okay, so survival is instinctive. It's not bad. And like I said, most of us can live comfortably in an instinctive world. In a survival and instinctive mindset because your job or what you're doing doesn't require anything else, but trading does. All right? Something, you know, instinctive is something, again, we all have inside of us. Um, Reactions automatically become subconscious. 95% of our actions, believe it or not, are subconscious. At least the last studies that I had, you know, in psychology classes, 95% of all our actions are instinctive. So when we feel pain and we feel that hurt from loss or being wrong, that instinct that we developed long ago in school kicks in. And if we're not paying attention to it, it causes us to do things that's going to be detrimental to our trading, to our growth in trading. It may protect us. We may protect ourselves from losing. Or it may trigger something and we start digging a deeper hole. But whatever the case is, it's subconscious because it's built in us, it's inherent in us. If our instinct is to fight, if our first instinct is to fight, then we're going to fight to the death and we're probably going to die if we're fighting the market. Or we'll protect ourselves, we'll become protective, and we won't grow, but we'll protect ourselves. Okay? That's where we are in this. So uh, we tend to replicate our behaviors over and over and over again. And all too often, again, this replication means repeating the wrong or even disastrous courses of action. Those that leave trading very quickly never learn to, protect ourselves. Their instinct never continues to fight, fight, fight. They fight to the death and they die. Those that have a protection type instinct, where the first thing they do is they look to survive and protect themselves versus fighting, they tend to last longer, but they never get anywhere. I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm doing that on purpose. So, what's resilience? Resilience takes work. How does it take work? It's about building emotional and mental fortitude. That's what we're going to do these months in trading. I'm going to teach you how to deal with your emotions and build your mental and emotional self so that you have the right mindset to come in and execute in this market and make money. That's what it's all about. Okay, you're going to be strong enough to choose or respond over the instinct to react. Okay, so you have an instinct to react. Let's go back to the simple example that I used. That if you have a bad trade and then you start fighting because that's your instinct. All right, you'll be able to choose how you respond versus just instinctively fighting. If you choose to fight based on what you see on the chart, that's one thing. But if you instinctively react and fight without thought, you're kicking resilience to the curb and you're working on your basic survival instinct. And that's where you can go wrong. Okay, are you getting this? Everybody's trying to figure out, why can't I do what I'm supposed to do? I know what I'm supposed to do. Why can't I do it? It's because the mindset that you don't have the trader mindset. And again, one of the elements of the trader mindset is to be able to act based on resilience and not instinct or survival. That's it. That's the answer to your question. All right, so you're going to learn how to be strong enough to choose how to respond over just the instinct to react. You're not going to let your anxieties or negativity overwhelm you because you're not going to have any. If you expect the trade to potentially go against you when you get in, there's no anxiety because it's doing exactly what you're expecting it to do. I expect every trade to to not go in my direction immediately. I love it when it does, but that's not my expectation. My expectation is the trade's going to do whatever the hell it's going to do. I just need to manage my process regardless of what this market does. So you don't let the anxiety or the negativity overwhelm you. And when it does, when I do start to get anxious, I get up and walk away. And you guys know that. You see me do that. You hear me tell you, I got to take a break. I'll be back. Or if I get pissed off and I let myself get out of sorts, I'm going to tell you I need to get up and go. I know I'm not in the right mindset. I'm in a survival mode, and that's not good. So I need to get out of that, get back in, and get the right mindset. Um, resilience allows us to choose wisely and to keep going, even when we're exhausted, and we'll have the patience to know that the results will come. You want to know you always want to know where my patience comes from. How am I able to be patient and stay in trades and allow them to work? I'm not working from a survival mindset. I'm not working from, oh, I need to protect my account because I can't go negative. I'm not working from that mindset. That's the big difference. And that's what I want you to see when you see me trade every day. I'm not working from a survival mindset. And when I start and I feel it, that's when I stop. Because it will sneak in. It will sneak up on you. It will start to come back. Remember, these things are deeply rooted inside of us. We can't make them disappear, but we can overwrite them. The file is still there, but we can overwrite it and focus on what we need to do going forward. All right, so resilience isn't survival. Yes, you do need it to navigate crisis. Okay, remember I told you you need survival instincts to help you navigate crisis, but you have to take it beyond that. Resilience is once you survive, you can analyze and make better decisions. Okay, so it's about rebuilding when exhausted and then being able to bounce, not just bounce back, but bounce higher and thrive. Remember, survival will allow you to bounce back, but we're looking to bounce back higher and thrive. And that's what resilience is going to do. All right, does that make sense? That's what resilience is going to do. It's going to keep us from continuing to end up in the same spot day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, quarter in, quarter out, year in, year out, and we'll start moving higher and getting better. All right. So, why is this concept so elusive and hard to understand? Number one, they don't teach it. Nobody teaches it. Nobody understands it. Once I post this publicly, I guarantee you in the next month or so, everybody that teaches this or has a psychology thing, they're going to start talking about it. I guarantee you. But nobody teaches it because nobody understands it. They haven't taken as much psychology classes as I've taken. They don't have a master's degree in psychology. They haven't taken over 60 graduate hours in psychology. So it's hard for them to understand this. But hopefully, I'm putting it out there so you can understand why this is very important. Okay, so we're a prisoner inside our brains. I think I mentioned that earlier. We're a prisoner in there because we trapped ourselves. We trapped ourselves to protect ourselves from any pain, suffering, or anything that we can. We protect ourselves because it's instilled in us from childhood. It's not taught in schools. Schools do not teach us how to survive. It's something that instinctively comes from us. If you look at animals, if you watch animals in the wild, like I've got feral cats outside, to watch how the kittens that are born, they know how to survive, they know what to do, but then once they get to from the mother, in order for them to survive, they have to actually move beyond survival. They have to thrive in order to live. And so they take it from um, they take it above survival. So look at the wild animals. I learned that from Steve, the crocodile hunter, back when he had his show before he got killed. One of the things he would love, he's like, I would love to save some of these animals, but it would not be fair to them because if they cannot thrive beyond the survival stage, their survival instincts, it'll be cruel to them. Life will be cruel to them. So it's there. Okay, even looking at nature, you can see it. Um, and it is very difficult to break the habits of a lifetime. That's why it's hard to understand, and nobody wants to deal with it. So this is exactly what I'm going to do here for you. Exactly what I'm going to do to help you out is to help you develop that part, which is part of the trader mindset. Remember, this is just one part. This isn't it. This is just one part. And you see how this has been hurting you up to this point in your trading and why we need to change. Okay, resilient people are flexible, adapt to new circumstances quickly, and thrive in constant change. Okay, this is why you want to be resilient. Resilient people are flexible, adapt to new circumstances quickly, and thrive in constant change. Most importantly, they bounce back and feel confident they will, and they also bounce back higher. I need to add that because that's key. Not only do they bounce back, but they will bounce back higher. Um, they have a knack for creating good luck out of circumstances that many others say is bad luck. Am I describing myself? Again, everybody's asking me it. I see you do this all the time. You get caught in a situation, bad luck, something happens, it goes against you, but you're able to work your way through it. Again, being resilient is how I do it. I don't, the survival instinct is cut the trade off, kill it, cut it off. But you see me do it all the time. You don't see a dead chart at the end of the day. You see it happen live and in color, which tells you or should convince you that this mindset is what you have to have in order to be a successful trader or, or a profitable trader, one that's going to make money. Okay, I think I proved it to you guys beyond a shadow of a doubt that come in the chat the classroom every day and watch me live. You see it happen. Everything that I talked about here happens. Okay, it happens. It's not a fantasy that I show and bring up once every week or 2 weeks or something. You see it happen every day. All right, so last but not least, I know I ran over today. I'm sorry. I got going too good. But how can we start developing a resilient mindset today, right now, when you get off of this and you go back in the room? How can you start developing a resilient mindset today? Number one, if you're not comfortable working with a coach, mentor, or close friend, then you need to do it. Do you believe that I have not talked to or had one session with over half the people that are signed up, for the program? These are the introvert people who may not be comfortable sharing. It could be a language barrier. It could be a lot of different things why they're not comfortable talking to somebody. But please find somebody that you can talk to, that you can get comfortable with, that can help you talk through these things. It's very, very important. Okay, very important in developing that resilient mindset. And remember, this resilient mindset, this is just one piece of the trader mindset. One piece. There's a lot more that we're going to be going over here. Stay present in the moment. Not just while you're in a trade, but while you're looking for trades. Stay in the moment. Don't go looking here, there, and everywhere trying to find the hot trade going on right now. It may not fit your strategy. Okay, stick to your strategy, your process. Stay in the present. Don't go looking behind you. Don't go looking in front of you. Don't go looking beside you for anything. Don't think about the old trades. Don't think about trades, potential trades. Just focus on the now. And more than anything, stay positive. Do not get that negative mindset. Now, I know I'm doing a better job of trying not to get that for you. I have a habit of saying the market's crap and blah, 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 blah. It's kind of for me, it's kind of a reverse psychology thing. But for others, they take it as negative. So I'm trying not to do that as much. Okay, it's not negative. It may come through as negative, but that's my reverse psychology thing. Like, I'm taking this damn trade off as soon as it does this, and then it works. And I'm like, yeah, look at that. It's just reverse psychology. But I'm trying to keep that more to myself than to share it with you because a lot of you guys aren't on that. All right. So don't forget about the questions that I brought up earlier in the beginning. You want to assess that as well as what I gave you last week and start working on these three things today. Okay, focus. You may think you're doing it, but remember what I told you. There's subconscious things that are probably protecting you from feeling the pain. And let's get through that. And if you need help with that, that's what mentoring is for. Whether it be me, and you guys have that, option with me, or if you need to go out and find somebody else that you want to work with, do that. You need to find somebody that can do that, that's going to support you where you are in your trading, how you enjoy trading, your process. All right? So, do I have any questions? I know I've blown your mind. I know your mind is blown right now. But do you guys have any questions? I see smoke coming out y'all's heads. I see smoke coming out today. Yep, I figured it's going to be hard to come up with questions because this is a lot to take in. So I will get the video up. I should get it out right after the market closes today. Um, and I'll get the PDF out with you. I don't send the PDF first because I want you to pay attention to the live presentation. And I used to do this in school, and I found that my students tuned out during the live presentation because they felt they had everything they needed right there on in the notes section that I gave out, the PDF for what we're going over, and they didn't. They didn't pay attention, so they didn't write down the extra stuff that I brought up. And when it came time to test or to perform in the lab, they couldn't do it because they couldn't connect the dots. So I do this specifically for you to pay attention to this live, and then I'll send the PDF so you could go follow it along with the recording. So yes, it's going to take a week to digest it. That's why we do this once a week. There are going to be some elements here that you just can't believe. But I guarantee you, you guys know now why you're not where you want to be. Why you're stuck in that break even cycle. All right, so I'm going to start uploading the video, get it um, processed, and should have it to you by the end of the market.